This is the Real Brothers. I'm X-Men 171. What's your name?
They call me G Money B.
Yeah, and I just want to start out by saying, we've been away for a little bit, and it's mainly because of the fact that I went to France. And so we're doing this Real Brothers episode actually close to 6,000 miles apart.
I hope you guys haven't been waiting for too long for this next episode, which I believe is season 3, episode 1. Am I getting this correct, sir?
You are exactly right. Season three, episode one, and talking about a movie that actually I'd say was a big part of our childhood. I mean, a big part of the '70s, and that movie is what movie we talking about?
Saturday Night Fever.
Saturday Night Fever.
From Flint Avenue taking the 71 over to East Ridge Mall and up to Gold Cinema. That's where the Real Brothers went and just for 99 cents on every single damn movie they could ever invent. We are the real brothers, the real brothers.
From 1977, I believe was the year. Yes, that was. But such an important movie because when we were kids, we did a lot of things that were connected to kind of like the disco era. Like even though when we were kids, we went roller skating, right? And they had the mirror ball in the center. Something that came directly from the disco era, and especially in Saturday Night Fever, where they had that mirror ball. But I mean, good lord! I mean, people wanted to go to the discos. And speaking of roller skating, you could not go through a Saturday night without hearing at least one BG song. I think that soundtrack was probably one of the first really, really big soundtracks. And I mean, Bee Gees were everywhere.
Yeah, if you know anything about that soundtrack, it took into the 80s, if I recall correctly, Michael Jackson's Thriller to beat it for the top album sold of all time.
Yes,
And
yes.
so it lasted quite a long time, a decade or so, and before Michael Jackson and one of the greatest albums of all time was able to take it from the Guinness Book of World Records for the biggest selling album of all time. But I mean, that lets you know how, even though there was that stance against disco back in the late 70s, that people were very anti-disco. Uh, People like us that listen to that soundtrack now just have nothing but fond memories of all the songs of all the different acts, including the Bee Gees on it.
Absolutely. You got the Bee Gees, you got Disco Inferno. Just songs that, when we hear, they just take us back to that time immediately. And yeah, I'm not sure what that whole campaign against disco was. I mean,
I got nothing. I don't know. I think it was just some one dude bored and just decided to bag on disco for whatever, and everybody jumped on the bandwagon. So
yeah, it might have been someone that could not disco dance. Maybe that was what it was. Who knows? But I mean, when you think about it, maybe it was a little bit strange. The bell bottom pants and those platform shoes. Maybe a little strange, but in the late '70s, I mean, everybody wanted to go to the disco. And I know that around that time is when Studio 57 in New York was really huge as well. And Travolta and Michael Jackson both went to that infamous club. But yeah, just a very important time in America. But this movie, though, what do you remember about this movie?
I remember so many things. I'm going to try to keep it brief because there's a lot. And I remember walking out, I think it was the Hyatt Regency Burlingame with Dad and you. And the movie was over. We were leaving. And I remember trying to get my disco dance on, leaving the auditorium and thinking, I'm John Travolta and everything and heading on out. And I remember that. I remember uh, being young and wanting to find a girl and fall in love. And the scene when him and I think the actress's name was Stephanie, I think, in the movie, if I recall correctly, are doing their first dance together at the dance studio
Oh yeah,
to the song written by the Bee Gees, but covered by the Traveris, I think. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Anyway,
Tavares.
oh, thank you. Yeah, so they're dancing for the first time, and they're kind of enjoying each other's dance moves. And at first, she was kind of being stuck up, but then she started to be a little nice, and he
Yeah.
was pretty much always trying to be nice and not generally like his friends who were racist assholes. But that's pretty much describing his friends for the most part.
Pretty much. I
So
mean, you think about the 70s, or the way that they spoke and the words that they used was very common at that time. What else?
yeah, I remember that, and then of course the infamous dance scene where John Travolta takes over the entire floor,
Yes, he does.
and the floor is lighting up different lights.
Yes, yes, yes.
There's probably a disco ball above, I'm sure. And while he's doing these supreme dance moves, this one girl sitting down goes, "All right," and I remember that. And also, uh, there were a few parodies they did. More specifically, "Airplane" comes to
Yes,
mind,
yes, yes.
with Robert Hayes. Is that right? Am I getting
Yes,
his name right? Okay.
that's exactly right.
Yeah, he does a little, a little thing, and this thing, and it is off the chart hilarious if you haven't seen that movie either. But it was so revered
Yeah, yeah.
in pop culture as well as in the movies. And one final thing, I believe movie critic Gene Siskel was a huge, huge fan of this movie,
Oh, wow.
where he bought John Travolta's suit in the final scene
Oh, man,
from the movie.
that's amazing.
Yeah, hmm
One
and
of
and
the
and that and that's just a little. I could talk about this stuff all day long. So
the funny thing about it, you talked about John Travolta. He had such a presence on the dance floor. I mean, you said he took over the floor, and that's exactly what he did. And I think by his prowess on the floor, that's really what helped him become such a huge star. I mean, the one thing that I want to mention, he went from Saturday Night Fever directly into Grease, two huge movies in the late 70s.
huge, huge.
I
Yeah,
mean, people still watch today, and also it should be said, the movie is amazing for dancing, but there's a pretty serious story in the background about a young guy he feels like his life is going nowhere. He works in a paint store, and he's kind of the middle child, and everyone in the family thinks his brother is just the best. His brother who's a priest, and so he has to sort of break out from being sort of the middle, sort of forgotten child, and the way that he does that is through dancing. And I mean, the story is told so well. And I don't know if you know this, but he was nominated for an Oscar.
I do know that. Yeah, he
For
was nominated for an Oscar. That dancing we talk about, the girl he
Yeah,
was dancing with was Fran Drescher, very
yeah,
famous actress from
right.
TV.
Yes.
And he also lost his longtime girlfriend or fiance that he had been with. She had died, I believe, of cancer. They were both in the store or movie, The Boy in the Plastic Bubble. She
Ah,
actually played his mom in that movie. She was a little bit older than Travolta, but he had to get time off from Saturday Night Fever to grieve a little bit and go to her funeral in LA. So,
wow. Wow. That's
yeah.
crazy. Crazy to think that that sort of cancer scare would come back years later after, he got married. Uh,
Yeah, too. I mean, wonderful actress, super duper, you know, uh, beautiful, and they just seem like a perfect couple.
yeah.
And to lose his wife of current means that was, yeah, that's got to be pretty tough.
Yeah, but I do want to mention also John Travolta, a huge part in our lives. One of the first actors that was really, just a huge star for us. And I don't know, one of those actors where you look at and you say, well, that's a movie star right there. But
Right? Yeah.
in this
Yeah.
film, just I mean, I hate to say it, he was just a good-looking guy, and said, man,
Yeah.
he get
Yep.
all kinds of ladies.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I mean, I have no idea for sure of his life, but I always felt like he just seemed like a nice guy. Like
Definitely.
someone who's down to earth. He seemed like that. I've seen him on Oprah before. He just seems very humble and
Yes.
very appreciative that people watch his movies,
Yeah.
and uh, a guy who could have easily taken advantage of the women crowd back in the day if he wanted to. Don't know if he did. I don't think he did. I didn't get that feeling that he was that type of individual for many reasons.
Yeah.
But someone uh, as kids, we could say, God, that guy is cool. He's
Yeah.
like, I mean, there's a scene in Greece, not to get off of Saturday Night Fever, where he sees Sandy for the first time,
Yes. Yes.
and he is caught in between wanting to be with back with her, but then his friends are behind him, and he does this move.
Rocking and rolling.
Yeah, that's it, right? Yeah. So I mean, we do that thing to this day, and that's a testament. Actually, something. It's funny talking about this movie and him. Um, uh, we've lost like a lot of celebrities,
Yeah. Yeah.
over
Yes.
this year of 2025,
Yeah.
and I get shook a bit when that happens, but when he goes, I'm gonna be shook. I'm gonna be shook. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Let's just
I
knock
mean,
on wood and hope he
yeah,
stays with us.
yeah, knocking on wood. I hope that doesn't happen anytime soon.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a tough time. I mean,
Yes. Yes. You mentioned he's a nice, genuine guy, and I think that might be one of the reasons why he's lasted so long. It's because he's been able to, show that he's a good person. And the film, Saturday Night Fever, just getting back to that, I mean, a great film. I mean, some iconic scenes. I remember the scene in White Castle, which is always funny, where they turn into dogs.
yeah, great scene. I mean, I like seeing once in a while where are they now, and they show those actors, what
Yes,
they're
yeah,
doing now, and
yeah,
that's really cool. And I remember there's I don't want to call it a plot twist, but at the very end, something very unfortunate happens to one
yeah,
of the friends, and
yes.
I remember being freaked out about that as a kid, and I was just like,
I
you know,
was too. That was
mhm,
from all the dancing and sort of, the happiness going on. Well, there was a lot of sadness going on too, but that was a big shock at the end.
mhm,
And I'm sure maybe people have seen it, but I don't want to reveal it. But that
right,
was what did that just
right,
happen?
exactly. I remember being freaked out a little bit, like wow, movie as it may be, it still was like, whoa, I can't believe that just happened.
Classic film, but and the reason I keep saying classic is just because it's one of those movies that that became a part of our lives.
Hmm.
Uh, Not just a film. These films they stay with us. I mean, it's almost what as of today, 48 years ago that movie came out.
That's pretty crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
And to have a movie, still fresh in our mind just shows you the long lasting effect that movies have. I mean, yeah, we're still there's scenes that still pop into our heads to this day, just living our daily lives. And that's one of the reasons this is a favorite film of ours. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it, so
All right, my brother, man, it's lovely to see you. That is
good to see
our
you.
of Saturday Night Fever. What's next? What are we going to talk about next?
The next movie we will be reviewing for your watching pleasure is going to be the movie Avatar. I think everyone and their mother have heard of this movie slash series, and that's another one that's gonna we could talk about for 2 years on that. We're not going to try not to talk for 2 years, but
Absolutely.
looking forward to reviewing that movie next
Abs-
month.
All right, my brother. Love you.
Love you.
And I'll be talking to you very soon.
Shout out to all our fans out there watching our videos. Thank you so much.
Thank you, fans. We appreciate your support. And yeah, we'll be back with another one. All right, we'll talk to you soon.